I still don't feel sex should be, I just don't think that's something that should come up on a first date. I think there's a time for that. And the truth is, you'll know when that time is.
But now the time is 24/7.
Now the time is now.
We watching Love is Blind and they in the pods describing themselves. Wait a minute. Isn't the show called Love is...
Yeah.
They're like,
and
I got
all
the
these
girl come in like...
innuendos.
Right.
I love a cream pie and all that. Like, girl, what the... Hello, hello. This is your girl, Intisar Eleanor. I am joined today by my beautiful husband, Joseph Conner.
Hey.
And we are back on the Conner's couch. Come on in, come on in, come on in. And we're talking Ready to Love today, so I hope you guys are ready. We got Love is Blind out. I done aired out half the country, but I feel better. Just so you guys get an update, so y'all feel like y'all on this journey with us. I have been loving Joe so much. It's like I got into my second trimester and all I want to do is be up under my husband. It is so fascinating to me because the first trimester I was like, ugh.
You're trying to murder me.
I was so mean. And now I feel like, oh, love me, hold me, hug me, rub me. So it's so fascinating. So I'm saying all that to say, I've been thinking about my husband all day, y'all. Isn't that weird? It's so weird what hormones will do to you. And I'm sharing this with y'all because this is new for us.
Yeah.
Even like the ebbs and flows and everything like that. And I don't know, Daddy. I was missing you all day.
I was missing you too.
But he bought me this, what did you buy me today?
Oh, it's like a coconut acai bowl.
Oh, yeah. I wanted honey, but you bought it with the chocolate.
They did it wrong, but
Joe,
I didn't have time for them to fix it.
And I knew it, baby. So it was fine. When I tell you I fucked that goddamn bowl up. I basically got the same thing.
I
thought, oh my God, the chocolate is so much better. I was in the room like, oh my God.
No, that
what is that?
Legit.
Is that Godiva? That's what I said.
And it's literally like, it almost tastes like ice cream to me.
That's what it tasted like to me. And I needed like a little, it got me through the second half of the day, y'all, because I literally, now I work today. Like that's y'all working too. So, but y'all don't get it. I worked today.
Yes.
We had like a little scare last night. And then this morning I felt like, oh God, I can't believe I have to do this. But I did it.
I know. Good job.
Shout out to my beautiful husband because he has been taking such good care of me. And now that my hormones is in a regular place, I could be nice to him. So let's get into Ready to Love. Deanna, Khalil, Naeem, Fritz, Sahara, True, go to the gym. Go to Naeem's gym, not just the gym. Naeem's gym and place of business, which I thought was kind of cool.
I'm not going to lie. It looks super cool. And I wish more gyms had the little, smoothie cafe place. That's what she talking about. I went to the cafe place, the smoothie place after the gym, but it's a whole different place.
Yeah,
I wish they had it in the gym.
Exactly. But I thought it was really a good looking spot. Is it me or did Sahara show up with high heels on?
I think she did, but I just feel like that doesn't surprise me.
She's just wildly unserious to me. And I want her to be, like, since she's here, I want her to be serious.
Yes.
But I'm not going to talk about Sahara too much because she gives me that she'll, like, jump out of a car, a blacked out Buick, and want to fucking fight or something.
No, seriously. And you
and I'm just not there no more.
I know that we from Philly, so we might end up running into
right, exactly. I don't want no smoke,
We
sis.
still got to go back home.
Because I think she's cute, but sometimes I find her to be unserious. So it was really nice to get in a little workout or whatever the case may be. And then they break out into their groups. Khalil talks to Deanna. And I kind of liked the energy that they had. Like it felt really natural.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know. I like Deanna, but is it me or are we not seeing a lot of her?
We're not, but I think that's because she's not necessarily having a lot of conversations and a lot of connections. And judging by her interaction with Cameron, the last time they talked, I think it just might be how she presents, maybe an attitude thing. Last time we saw her, she was giving Cameron some crazy attitude. So I don't know. Like, it might just be that people aren't. It might be that in the room she's not coming off as the warmest, and so she's not having as many connections as some of the other ladies.
It's weird because she doesn't come off to me as not warm, but I'm also not a man. So I don't know. I feel like people like her and they like the way that she looks, but it just feels like we don't get to see enough of her, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Khalil also talks to True, who came late. Naeem pointed that out, that she came about 40 minutes late. I'm bothered by that too.
1,000%. My thing with True is this. Last time we was talking about True and Naeem, we was talking about the cell phone situation. At first, I was super confused by it because I'm like, I don't get it. Like, who cares if she has an Android or an iPhone?
Right.
That's how it registered in my mind. But then we got some insight, and we got some insight that it was not just about the phone. It was, which we later saw on this episode, that
It's very clear that it's not just about the phone.
that they went in some more detail about how it was a fake number, which I thought was weird, some type of Google number or something, which I thought, once I got context on it, I'm like, that was weird. And then on top of that, a little birdie tells me that you were checking Naeem about talking to other women in the process, which that is literally the process.
Yeah.
To be on here and to date and to converse with the 1,000 other women that is
literally
on the process.
1,000 other
On
women.
top of that, you checking him about that, and then he throws an event and you show up 40 minutes late to it.
Yeah, it's almost like you don't want to bury the beef.
Yeah.
Like, whatever it was, we could start over. Let's start brand new. I didn't like a couple things about their interaction. I thought Naeem was being if I'm being honest, okay? I thought Naeem was just being straightforward about how her showing up made him feel and what that looks like to him. Like, it doesn't give that you want to be a part of this. It doesn't give that you want to be pursued.
But also couple that with the context of, when I met you, you gave me a fake number type time.
Yeah. So it feels like you're wildly unserious.
Like
yes.
Yeah.
And I think, but I don't think he said it disrespectfully. I'm saying all that to say, I don't think he said it disrespectfully. I think he just said it in a way that was just like, what's going on? Like, exactly. And I feel, and this is going to be a pattern throughout this episode, I don't think True had the issue with the truth. I think True had the issue with accountability. That's so fascinating to me, because I really do dig in on men who will not take responsibility for their actions. But I feel like sometimes, like in this case, True had an opportunity to say, you know what? I really messed up. I got the times wrong, whatever the case may be. Your time is just as important to me as my time. So I apologize for that. You know what I mean? Because that's when people show up late, y'all, that's the impression that you're giving.
100%.
Your time is not as important.
Right. It's actually a direct correlation to how somebody feels and respects your time.
Exactly.
Unless barring, an act of God or something that's out of their control. It just said, that's why I hate being late, because I don't want anybody to think like, oh, this mug just really don't care. You know what I mean? Or he's disrespectful. You know what I mean? I hate it because you never know how somebody else is feeling. You know what I mean? Especially if they on time, they might feel like I managed to show up and plan my day to be here on time. I don't want to hear that your day got off schedule because you didn't plan accordingly to be here on time, especially when you're dating. Imagine if you are a young woman, you waiting to meet this man out at a coffee shop and he shows up 40 minutes late. You would
be annoyed.
You would be hella annoyed.
Or you on a group date and your date don't show up for 40 minutes.
Right. Even worse. And now you just third wheeling it for half an hour.
But she really, to me, what I felt was got up and dismissed him.
She did.
Like, I felt that was dismissive. I don't feel like it added any closure. I don't feel like she gave him any resolve or resolution. And not to say that you gotta be, contorting yourself to be like, nice to a man. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying respect is due a dog. And if you want him to respect you a certain way, then you should just have the respect enough to say, I was wrong, full stop. I'm not even going to go into what I had. If you want to know, I'll let you know. But the truth is, I messed up.
It's just you said it when you started talking. It's the accountability thing, and that it's not a surprise to me because that's the biggest issue that I see. And
I know that's like that, and that's not. It's pervasive.
It's the biggest issue that I see, and then we see it come up again when they sit down with people and they talk to the ladies about the who's going home or who was in the bottom.
Well,
But I'm saying it's a thing, it's a running
yes,
theme.
that's the theme for this episode.
Like,
it's a wild lack of accountability
crazy.
and responsibility for who you are. And not even just a lack of accountability. It's a lack of self-awareness.
That part.
You are just wildly not self-aware, because True also talks to Khalil. Now, y'all know, and the problem I'm having with this whole conversation is that I don't cape for men ever, okay? It's against my religion. But True is speaking to Khalil. Is it me, or is Khalil asking everybody the same question? How is this process going for you?
Honestly, I don't.
You're not upset about that?
I didn't clock it, but I don't have an issue with it. I mean, when you're going through this process, it's like interviewing. Like, when you're in the interview process, you do tend to get in a mode. You answer a lot of the same questions. You're asking a lot of the same questions.
Yeah.
And they might be pertinent questions, but it's something that you have to bring up again. And it's something that might make sense for the time and the environment. You might genuinely be interested in how this person is affected by the process versus how this person is affected by the process. We saw in Love is Blind that the young man from I think last season did a video where he showed the booklet that they sit in the pods with, and they all had
Marshall.
They basically all had the same questions in the booklet.
Yeah, like some prompts.
So I don't have a problem. He might got his own prompts. I don't know. Yeah,
I guess it's too many women for me to be particular about what he asking to. I was just curious because I just noticed he said it like 3 times this episode. He talks to True. Now, this is where I'm a cape for you, True, because I don't think you should ask a woman their age.
But this is full stop. Understanding the context of this experiment makes it different, right? He didn't just pull up on you at a bar and say, "Hey, how old are you?" This is a very different, that happens people are asking each other's age all the time on these shows. And y'all know we do all of these shows, right? It's very common for a man.
Yeah, it's not common.
It's very common. That's the experiment. You're getting to know. Hell, that might be how you write them down in the book. Katrina, 26. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, okay, you're trying to remember certain things about certain people. You're talking to multiple people, and you're also trying to find commonalities, right? So most of the time when these guys are asking this, they're trying to gauge like, oh, we graduated the same year. What high school did you go to? Like those type of questions typically follow. So to act like it's so taboo in a process where you're basically speed dating through the whole thing is weird to me.
So, okay. Now, to be honest, y'all, I don't tell people how old I am either. I'm really because I just don't see the point. That's why I understood where True was coming from.
But you in the real world with that.
I am in the real world with that. Everybody knows. But I mean, people don't, to the point where my daddy be asking me, like, how old are you again? And that's not a joke. That's the truth. I don't tell nobody. And it's an ideology for me. I just want to live and exist. And I'm forever young. So whenever I get whatever age, it really ain't nobody's business. Joe know. So if he got to do the documentation, somebody knows. You know what I mean? I don't want people to get defensive about it. Like, I feel like there was a cuter way to say. Like, I tell people all the time, I say that I'm grown too. You know what I mean? Or I say I'm very young. I'm very young. But I think she could have said, I'm in my 30s. And that would have been sufficient. You know what I mean?
But not only that, but like you said, it's a way to spin stuff. Like, you know what I mean? You could have said it in a joking way, like to spin it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because I always say 25.
That's what I'm saying. You could say stuff to keep the energy light. It's the defensiveness for me.
Yes, it felt defensive.
Like he was trying to also steal your social security number and then go and take your tax return. Like,
are we reading it wrong, y'all? Did it feel defensive? Not defensive. It felt like she was offended.
Right.
Like she was offended. And part of me gets that. Like part of me is like, as a woman, do not ask me how old I am.
I don't get that in this process.
But I understand what you're saying.
Specifically in this process. In the real world, I would never just pull up on some lady and be like, hey, how old are you?
The point I'm making is that she's not beating the allegations.
Right.
Fritz and Sahara talk. She says that when she speaks to Fritz, she feel like he the homie. Like, she'll be like, well, what you do today? He'd be like, gym, tea, and laundry. And then she asked him the next day, what you do today? And he say, gym, tea, and laundry. And she was like, you literally just said the same thing to me 2 days in a row, like the same exact responses twice. That, I wouldn't even speak to him after that. We don't have nothing to talk about.
The truth of the matter is, Sahara is the homie to everybody. She's only still here because she is the homie, and
the problem is I probably love her.
And they are trying to weed out
the homies.
They're trying to weed out the most controversial. They're trying to weed out the most volatile, like first, and if she makes it past another week, it's going to be because she's the homie, and they're like, we don't necessarily need to get to you today. We need to get to so-and-so today, right?
Yeah.
So I think the truth is she's the homie for most of these guys. I don't really believe that any one of these guys has a romantic connection with Sahara. I just don't see it.
I don't either. I really don't either. But not because I don't think she is a pretty woman. Like, I think this is a good-looking woman. It's definitely her vibe and her energy.
1,000%. I think Fritz clocked it perfectly.
He said,
she come on too strong. She too goddamn...
He had all the adjectives.
He's right. He ain't lied. We said that in the first episode. Like, goddamn, where'd they get this woman from?
He had all the adjectives. So, Tay, Hussein, Rocky, Cam meet at Cam's house, okay? This is why I like Philly. Because to me, it is such one of those wonderful industrial cities. And by industrial, I mean like you can be a firefighter and have your own home. You could be a cop and have your own home. You don't have to be this tech giant, make millions of dollars. Like, you know what I mean?
San Francisco.
Right. LA. You know what I mean? Just to purchase a home. It's really, really good to see Black people just living and thriving in their environments and making their houses homes. Like they're, you know what I mean? And really leaning into their neighborhood. So I actually really liked seeing Cam's, like coming into Cam's space and everybody getting to hang out. It was cool. Like it's a bachelor pad, but it really is cool to me. Like to see it, including Fritz as well. Like I love seeing that. Which is so fascinating because it really does, like Philly might be an okay place to find a person. Because people are employed there. Like people, them Black men be having jobs.
Yeah, Philly is a blue collar city, and most blue collar cities follow a tradition of family.
Yeah, and not to say that's what I mean when I say these people are employed, but you feel more comfortable having a family when you got a 401k, you got a pension, you got a couple dollars, you got a car, you feel more comfortable. Like, all right, yeah, I'm gonna have that. So they meet at their house. Everybody likes Tay, and I love that everybody likes Tay. I don't know what it is. I like her too.
I like her too. I really, and it really doesn't surprise me.
It don't surprise me a bit.
I thought when Tay came on the screen, I thought she was one of the better looking women in the cast. I thought she had, probably the best energy. I thought she, as far as being well spoken and also being warm, I thought she was at the top of the pot as far as that goes too. I figured that she would be a big favorite here, and so that's just kind of playing out.
So what I also want to call out is Cam was in the bottom last week, right? And the ladies told him that he need to open up. And I don't know if y'all feel this way, but I feel like Cam is giving us so much more of his personality this week.
I agree.
It was but this is what it looks like when you take what people say and you're not offended by it. It's just constructive. We get to see this beautiful man blossom and really give us a little bit more of himself, making him a much better looking human. You know what I mean? Like he was so wound up tight, and we're going to charge that to the game. But the truth is, he is this beautiful human who wants to chat with people. He want to be inviting and open. You know what I mean?
He gives that to me. That's why I really didn't like the interaction that he had with Deanna, because I felt like he was warm and he was asking good questions and he was leaning in, and I just thought that he wasn't giving that in return, and so I could see him making a connection with somebody, because he does show up pretty well.
So then they start asking each other questions. The first one was a question about like where you want to be kissed at or something like that, which was hypersexual, but I'm glad they moved on from it. They all handled it well, like adults. Like he just answered the question and then they moved on to the next one. We ain't got to get offended or nothing like that. It was too soon. We all knew, but I like that they kind of, that particular group handled it well. The next question was like, what are you most grateful for? I think it was. Mm-hmm. And, Tay starts saying how, like, you know, she graduated and she was able to get some things done, and just how she's been able to, everything she set her mind to, she's been able to do, which it was endearing to watch. And when we talk about like a woman talking about what she's accomplished, to me, that's what it looks like.
100%.
It didn't feel like you all are done, because we do have a way of being that way. Oh, you don't make $150,000 a year. Oh, you don't make $200,000 a year. Oh, you don't. You know what I mean? But the way that she kind of owned her own, like just saying that this is what made me feel most grateful. Everybody ain't out here selling crack and doing all these things or whatever the case may be. Some of us is just living a regular ass life, wanting to graduate from school and do big things. You know what I mean? And I really loved how Hussein and Cam kind of took that in. Hussein was feeling Miss Tay, okay? But then Rocky, this tickled me. Because then Tay said that Rocky starts talking about how she was selling drugs.
Which isn't surprising.
I
said this. I said, that's kind of what I got. That was the vibe that I got when she first came on the screen. And you were sitting here telling me like that I was blind and that you wasn't seeing the same thing that I was seeing. I'm not surprised. Rocky and Sahara is kind of one and the same. And they both kind of give street, but like hard.
But Rocky to me is way softer.
I wouldn't say way. I would agree with softer, but way God. is
Don't
too much
Rocky.
sauce. It's not. It ain't way softer.
I was surprised she shared that, but then again, sometimes I used to get a lot of pushback in my circles in Philly because people would say stuff like this, and I would be like, "Ooh," I would be like, "Oh, Jesus." And my girlfriends, shout out to them, would be like, "You cannot be reacting to people like that because you can't. That's not okay." You know what I mean? But in a moment, I was young, and at that time, I was still fighting, so I really would say whatever I wanted to in front of whoever I wanted to say. But it really is not okay to do. And I'm sorry to anybody who I ever did that to. But that is like a Philly thing. It's not that I don't think she should have shared it. I want to know something else about Rocky, I think. If that makes sense.
It makes sense, but this is not. I mean, this is par for the course, and this is what my objection to both Rocky and Sahara were when we first kind of was reviewing, everybody and kind of doing first impressions. It was just that I feel there's plenty of people who represent this part of Philly, and I just think that we could have found more people who represented the other part of Philly. That's all.
Yeah, I'm about to contradict myself though, y'all. So don't blame it on me. Blame it on my baby. But inversely, Cam spoke about his depression, how he grew up, how destitute he grew up. So you know what? Now I'm taking back what I said, okay? Because that was a part of Rocky's story that she felt like she needed to share. And if Cam could share his depression and everything and how he grew up and how he's most grateful for how he came out of that, she's allowed to share that. How she came out of hers as well. That wasn't fair. That wasn't fair.
We're not saying she's not allowed to. She's allowed to share it. The problem is that this is an allegation for Rocky.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's that I don't like. Like, hold on, girl, is the statute of limitations up?
Yeah, like you kind of got to lean away.
Yeah.
Until you show people a different side.
Exactly. Like I just started talking about being a booster. That's you know what I mean? Like I wouldn't be saying that back in the day though.
That's what I'm saying. That she hasn't really beat those allegations yet. And so I just think it's something that she maybe should have, shied away from. But this is who they cast, so this is what we get. But
I like Rocky, and I enjoyed that Cam kind of shared that. And that to me is like what we want to see. Like we all experience, we live in this life, okay? Right now I'm raw dogging life. I don't have nothing that can kind of take me from it. So it's like these people who are in the world and experiencing these high highs and low lows, like they should have a space to explain that as well. And Rocky should have a space to explain, the things she's going through too. And it's being received well. And I think that group received it well. One of the funnest parts of this episode to me was the pool party. I'm not going to lie. Black people joy is like my favorite thing.
First of all, it was a vibe. This is the pool party at Fritz's house, yes?
Yes, baby.
Where do you live,
we made
Mr.
it.
Fritz? Okay, I need to know because the first thing I thought was this house is definitely not in Philadelphia. 100%.
Where is it? Like
I didn't start seeing backyards that big until I got to Las Vegas. You understand what I'm saying?
But in Jersey or Delaware, they got big backyards too.
Right. I just meant in juxtaposition to me living in Philly.
I know, right? Why did I need to do that?
She said, literally.
I don't know. I don't know my brain.
To Schenectady, New York.
Really, like, oh my God, girl, relax. No, you're right. I think that he has a beautiful home. I just like this particular group. So it was Fritz, it was Kiara, Angie, Eddie, and who was the one other guy? And Francisco. So they all, it was just, y'all know these group dates be wearing me thin. So they all got together.
People. Y'all got to bear with us.
And Shanice, let me tell y'all something. Shanice is growing on me. Shanice is like, it's Shanice, Tay, Angie. They my top 3, full stop.
No, you know who my top 3 is? Shanice, Tay, and Kiara.
I love Kiara too, though. I want to throw Kiara in.
Angie is a close third.
Okay, but I liked Angie this episode, and I'm going to tell you why. It was really nice to see her kind of like, she kind of played the background a little bit and was helping Eddie on the grill, and you know what I mean? Like, everybody kind of found their groove, it felt like.
Well, I think they get more comfortable with each other and around each other and with the process, right? Talking to 1,000 people, being on camera. I think that takes some time.
They need to bring Love is Blind to Philly. I think that there is
100%. Authentic.
Jesus Christ. An authentic energy, because the truth is these people are just comfortable in themselves.
Yeah.
Including Sahara. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we saying like, oh my God, it's too much. But the truth is she just comfortable with who the hell she is.
That's true.
And we are watching these shows, and now that we're watching them almost in like bulk, you know what I mean? Back to back. This is the most authentic of a cast we've seen between Married at First Sight, Love is Blind, and this one. This feels honest to me.
That's because of the city, though.
But that's why I'm saying Married at First Sight, Love is Blind, y'all need to go to Philly. Y'all need to go to Philly. It's very clear that, one, it's a place where it's successful people there. It's a hardworking city. You don't got to make $1 billion to live there and thrive.
And it's not going to be a full pot of applicants who trying to be actors and influencers and models and Metro PCS.
And everybody don't already know each other because they frequent the same 5 or 6 bars in Minnesota.
Like too small. Philly is a big, small city, but not too small.
Right.
Like this, what's happening on Love is Blind is giving incest.
It is, though. It really is. So what we're seeing here, though, is like getting to see these Black people just get to enjoy each other and really lock in the process. Because they're locked in on the process, they get to be more comfortable.
Yeah.
So we seeing the people jump in the pool and everything. I was loving it. I was really, really loving it. They start talking about, oh my God, Coley. How many people was at this goddamn pool party? I didn't even mention her.
Bro, 25.
Coley speaks to Fritz about what he is following on Instagram. Y'all gonna have to let us know what y'all think about this. I've been out of the loop so long from dating, so y'all gonna have to give us the real opinion about how y'all feel about Fritz following pages that are poly-centered or poly.
First of all, it's like watching a dumpster fire. I was watching I was telling my wife about a couple or throuple. Who I used to watch their TikToks. You know what I mean? I didn't necessarily follow them or the hashtag, but it was fascinating.
I think I was following the polyamory hashtag for a second.
It's just...
And no, bitch, we ain't taking no applications.
No, not at all. But it's social media. You watch things, I watch, a lot of things about murder. I'm not a murderer. I don't think about committing murders. I'm just into murder mysteries and things like that. Like, who cares? It's 2020. Like, we all have things that we pay attention to that might get our mind off of something, that in pertaining to social media that we are not actually a part of. Zar went through a period where she was just following the lesbian TikToks. You know what I mean?
I was.
She's not a lesbian. You know what I mean?
I thought TikTok was trying to tell me something.
But it's just like, I was just fascinated with it, you know what I mean? Because it was this young Black throuple, and he was probably about our age.
Oh my God, y'all know who he talking about.
Y'all know exactly what I'm talking about. Y'all probably watch their TikToks too. It's fascinating. You know what I mean?
They was in a cult though.
I don't.
It was given cult.
The point is, it was something to watch when I was laying down at 11:30 at night, and I'm watching these people talk about how they living their throuple lives.
Yeah, I don't think it was that big of. I think it's a topic of conversation. I don't think it's a topic of accusation.
And stop majoring in the minors. Who cares?
Who cares?
Unless he said, I want you to be in a throuple. Who cares what he's watching on
Because all
TV
you had
or
to
on
ask him
TikTok?
is, I'm sorry, babe, I keep
No, go
interrupting
ahead.
you. But all you have to say is like, what does monogamy look like to you?
Right. Or just listen to him when he said, that's not something I'm into. I just watch it.
I don't think you had to call it out. I think you made yourself look crazy.
1,000%. 1,000%. Especially after he told you, it's just something that I watch. You know what I mean? I subscribe to a page and I watch that. You know what I mean? We watch a bunch of singles every week date. We're married.
Hello.
Like, so what?
But also, like, y'all have to be able to learn to keep some shit to yourself.
Yes.
It's like, and I'm not saying like, I'm saying that everybody don't got to know you for your works. You could have looked it up and just put a mental note in the back of your mind and then said, you know what, I'm going to ask some questions around this and see if I can get to the bottom of how he feels. It didn't have to be, I was stalking you on Instagram. Because now you could say you were looking at my Instagram. Who goes to somebody's hashtag follows?
Yeah, that's weird to me. If anything, it told me that you're the weirdo.
Yes.
Why are you even focused on this or even digging in that crate?
And guess what, Coley? I'm going with you with being a weirdo because I'm going to look at everything too. I just don't want to. I'm not going to tell you because I don't want you to ever change any settings, do anything that's going to limit my ability to look at those things. And a lot of time y'all be saying this stuff out loud and I be thinking like, what was the point of that?
Yeah.
Because you blew your load. Like, it's like.
But also, it would make me, and it's probably making him, distance from you. Whatever we did have, I'm like, this is weird. You know what I mean?
It almost feels intentional, like that's what she wanted it to be.
I don't think she actually, I think she's a little bit aloof. I don't even think she knows that she does these things to turn people off. We talked about in another video how, I think we were talking about Virginia, Love is Blind, and how you made the statement, it's interesting that she signed up for this process. And I said, they always show us. I don't care how fine they are, how astute they sound, how articulate they are. They always show us why they're on this process, why they're single, why they need help dating. This is why. She's a beautiful girl, and she's probably done this to 1,000 people and turned 1,000 people off, hence why she's single.
Kiara talked about her father. This brain is somewhere else. Kiara talks about her children's father. Just so y'all know, in my note, it says children's father. Kiara talks about her children's father and says that he went to prison for 40 years, or he got sentenced to 40 years. And she has 2 kids, and she was with him and was going back and with him and going back. And the last time she went back, he got in prison for 40 years. So she took that as her sign that the Lord was intentionally taking this person out of her life so that she could move on and thrive. And Fritz, he said that I don't know if that's something I want to continue to pursue. Because if this man is even maybe coming home soon or can get an appeal, what does that look like when he comes home?
It looks like he knocking at your door, Fritz, and want to speak to you. And I said it in the moment. I said, that would turn me to a different direction. Nothing wrong with her. That's the plight that she has. And it also wasn't shocking. Kiara gives baby boy. She gives Nunu. She gives like that would be the situation that she would be in. No shade to Kiara. So it really didn't surprise me, but it will also be the reason why I wouldn't be involved with somebody like this, because my thought process is very similar to Fitz. I don't even want that type of energy or that type of baggage coming across my doorstep, which is why I said when we first saw this batch, right? Because it's not just about how they show up or how they speak or how they dress or blah, blah, blah. It's also about like the type of things that they're into, the type of exes that they have, the type of baggage that they come with, not necessarily jiving with the type of person that I would have on this show to pair with, right? And if I was casting, I would have cast a bunch of Fritz, people who had this thought process of, I don't want to be dealing with somebody somebody ex-con baby daddy. That's how I would have cast the show. I
wouldn't want to be dealing with nobody. And not that I think men care at all. But I know as a woman, I wouldn't be wanting to deal with nobody's baby mama.
Right.
So my assumption is that a man wouldn't want to deal with a woman's baby daddy. I know men don't care as much.
Specifically ex-con baby
But
daddy.
I think it's the specifics. 40 years? He ain't got shit to lose. He just lost literally just lost 20 years. He ain't got shit to lose.
Right,
You know
listen,
what I mean? Like,
he ain't about to be trying to sit down and have a talk with me.
and who's to say he's not romanticizing whatever they had or got going on or whatever, or the day he's going to see her? I think that's natural. You know what I mean?
Especially when you've been locked up around a bunch of men for 40 years.
I agree with Fritz. Okay, I ain't gonna lie. I thought, okay, girl, this is a wonderful story, and this is no judgment. I love this for you, but child, I saw the movies. He get out and then want to chase us both down.
Yeah,
I don't got time.
Nah, I'm good. I'll pass.
So y'all gonna have to tell me something. Do y'all be cooking or no?
No, they not.
Why do men be so surprised when women cook?
Because nowadays, what I'm hearing is that the domesticality as a trait in this era is fleeting. It is not something that's common. Now, if it's a lie, y'all told it. But y'all tell us in the comments if you feel that it's true or not. But that's what I'm hearing, and I've heard that from both women and men, single women and men.
One, if he ain't your man, I get it. You don't want to do too much. I understand, and I would tell you not to, right? But I think it is fascinating that it's not a lot of, like, men get surprised. Like, when he said, oh, Angie was helping me, showing me her domestic side, and I'm thinking, she probably was just doing some stuff she would normally do.
She probably is, but he's probably not used to seeing that being in today's dating space, where everybody is just, they single women, they just Uber Eatsing themselves every night. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Which if I was single, I'd be Uber Eatsing myself every night too.
But you can cook, and you grew up in an environment where you saw people cooking, and you saw people taking care of their man or whatever in that way. I don't know that the majority has experienced that, and I think it's affected the dating scene.
I think people are afraid to show that side of themselves.
I think people don't have the ability. That's two different things.
That's what you think?
100%.
All right, y'all, here's a poll. Do people not have the ability to be domestic? Or are they just hiding this part of themselves from the people that they're dating?
I think if y'all had the ability, people like Cooking with Kaya wouldn't be blowing up. Shout out Cooking with.
How about that? Because men just happy to see a bitch
they
cook.
Like, whoa, what's this? Chicken piccata.
Joe, that is hilarious. Because she don't be making nothing crazy. No. She just be frying chickens.
No.
Which, all right, girl, cooking with.
Period.
Coley and Jay go out. I'm going to be honest. This particular date made me feel like Coley was relaxing a bit. Coley gives aloof. I feel like that's intentional. I do not believe she is aloof. I think that that's the thing that has probably gotten her a lot of dates. Oh, you know what I mean? And, whatever that is. But I don't think that she is an aloof person. And I feel like when she was having her conversations with Jay, she was very present. And we got to we're seeing different sides of her. Like, I feel like when she's in a group, she's a bit uncomfortable. And I think when she's one-on-one, like when she was with Eddie, Angie, Wayne, and herself, you got to see a little bit of her personality come out. And I think you get to see that here, which I appreciate it.
I mean, honestly, I can buy that. I liked seeing Jay in this setting more than Coley. Because I feel like Jay don't have a lot of words typically.
I know.
So he seemed like he was leading a conversation. He was asking her questions, and he was really into her. So it was nice to see like more of his personality come out.
But we have to block the sex word on the first date.
But Zar, this is the environment now, man. Everything is so sex forward, and I'm seeing it on both sides. And I think we just that's it. Because this is how they talk to each other. It's very much, I mean, just look at social media. The type of pictures that I see posted on social media, a man would have to hit the lottery to see back in my day when we was coming up. You used to have to beg for a bikini picture, like, please.
And he be begging.
I used to beg. But now, this is the first thing on and it's pinned to their Instagram. This is just them bending their ass over. First picture. You know what I mean? Like, so I think that's also led us into this over-sexualized, hypersexual dating world where everybody is just leading with it on the first date. It's a casual question. Even in a group setting when they asking, what's your favorite, erogenous zone and all this other stuff. I just think that's the time that we in now, and it's just.
Well, I'm sorry to everybody who has experienced it. I don't think, and I say this as a standard, I don't think sex should be bought up. I think there are ways to see if you are dating somebody who likes physical touch without saying, what did he ask her?
He said, "How you feel about sex?" That was almost verbatim.
But then you said something earlier that I'm going to give him a little bit of grace on. You said that he is not a man of many words. It's like him downstairs.
No, yes.
You know what I mean?
Like he probably don't
like
even
there's
know
no prepositions or anything like that.
Yeah, he don't have
you know?
he probably don't even know how to finesse that conversation or any conversation.
And I think that's it. Some part of that is endearing to Jay, if I'm being honest. And I don't think he was trying to be disrespectful. I didn't even read the question from him as disrespect.
I don't think it is either, because also a part of me is also taking into context how they edit things, right?
Yes,
like
he probably said something before that.
Right. Like I had a little conversation with a little birdie that's close to the production who specifically talked about how they felt the editing was weird, you know what I mean? And watching the show back. And I can attest to that because I've seen it on other shows and spoken to members of the cast who also said something like that. And so the conversation, because when it happened in the moment, I also said to Zar, I wonder if the conversation was as choppy as it looked, like he just randomly asked her about sex, or if they were talking about something and then his follow-up question was, well, how do you feel about sex? But it wasn't cut that way. So I'm also thinking about that stuff too, especially hearing it from people close to the production.
I still don't feel sex should be, I think as a standard, as much as I don't think she felt disrespected, I don't think he said anything that was disrespectful. I just think as a matter of I just don't think that's something that should come up on the first date.
I agree. I mean,
and y'all could have hung out, had conversations, talked on the phone, all that. I don't think that's something that should come up and you're on. I think there's a time for that. And the truth is, you'll know when that time is.
But now the time is 24/7.
Now the time is now.
We watching Love is Blind and they in the pods describing themselves. Wait a minute. Isn't the show called Love is?
Yeah.
They like,
and
I got
all
the
these
girl come in like,
right. I love a cream pie and all that. Like, girl, what the fuck? Joe, don't laugh. That's what she said.
But not only was they talking about cream pies, but multiple women are like describing, I got a nice little mini skirt on for you today. He asked you what you do today.
Child,
it's
the party line.
It's the party line.
But the truth is, I think she handled it well. She answered it as classy as she possibly could have. And, I thought they had a good date.
I did too.
I thought it was a good date to see. But you know who had the best date? Cam and Rose. Cam and Rose had the best date. They went out to eat. She looked phenomenal. Okay. Good. He looked good. They looked good together. It was really nice to watch. And it kind of like opened up to one another. I do have critiques about the date, but y'all know that's how I am. I really wish when I'm talking to my girlfriends, somebody could be filming them on their dates. Because sometimes I feel like they come back and tell me stuff and I'll be like, is that how it happened?
Oh,
in my brain, you know what I mean? But this is so good to watch because like there's not critiques like you did anything wrong, but like critiques like, okay, there's an opportunity for us to kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get to what you were actually trying to say.
Yeah.
The first things first is I know y'all want to tell people what y'all previous experiences are like. Don't.
Yeah. I mean, we don't need to go there, especially when you just met this person. Y'all on the first, second, and third date.
I think that how she said it was beautiful. Like, I love and I charge it to the game, not to the person I'm with at the time. Like, I'm just going to find love. And I don't think that, just because one man ain't no good, that all men aren't no good. But I'm saying that the problem is that men will pretend like they're not listening and they hear everything that you say. And you will say, this man hit me between the headboard and the nightstand and he was cheating and he was doing this. And then you get with a man and then he just do 5% better than that man. You know what I mean? So you think, oh my God, but in real life, you only got 5% more. And the truth is, and I'm not saying lie, I just think that there is a way that you need to lead with what you want versus what you had. You know what I mean? Like, you almost have to like flip the conversation for it to be maintain the positivity, because men will also take that information and throw it in your face. That's why you can't tell these motherfuckers nothing.
But I don't think she overexposed anything.
I don't think she did, but I don't think she should have said anything.
I think it's okay to say it in a way of like, I'm healed. Like, like, I'm not about to hold you. I'm not about to make you pay for the sins of another man. And so that just, I think if you say it in that light, and then it's okay. But I agree, you shouldn't I don't like when people get overshare about past relationships, period. Because I believe that everybody is a different person with a different person.
But I think there's a way to say it that doesn't say any of that. I've been a heartbreaker. I've been heartbroken. And right now, I'm looking for somebody who won't take care of me and my heart. That's it, and that's all. Don't nobody need to know the details of why you out here in this dating world. Don't nobody need. She gave too much detail. Every single man you've been with has cheated on you.
She probably could have.
You are the common denominator. Now I'm looking at you like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
That's true.
But either way, I thought they had a really, really good conversation. Another thing that I thought was weird was how she asked him to pray over the food.
I thought she made too much of it, but I just thought that like she made it a thing. Like,
yes.
And I think she could have did it. I didn't have a problem with her doing it. I just think she could have did it without it being like, okay, yo, everybody stop. Shut the lights off. Turn the TV off. You know what I mean? I didn't think it needed to be a whole thing. Because that could also make it awkward. Like, why be like, okay, let's just do it and then move on.
I think so. I think that you already spoke to someone who said that they were open to spirituality. Nothing in me believes that Kim, if she would have said, come on, I want to just pray over the food quick, Kim would have been like,
no, right. That's what I mean. It was like a little too much.
Is that all right with you? Yeah. It just was a little. And let me tell you something. Rose is going to get a man out of this. So I'm not saying this from a space of like she's doing anything wrong at all. It's just, being just a little critical of the small thing. Because she's going to be all right. That's just very clear to me. Something about her just feels warm and easy. And not easy like easy, but easy like
easy going,
easy going and comforting. You know what I mean? So I don't think she's gonna have any issues, but I do think that don't run the man away with the bullshit. Like, you know what I mean? I don't think I tell people, like, you sit at tables with different people. We done all the things with all the people, celebrated Jewish holidays, been to the, you know what I mean? We do it all. So it's like when people act like it's such a thing, like, why are you making it a thing?
Yeah, because then you make them nervous. Like, do I need to think about this?
Or like, what do you think of me that you think I wouldn't just like allow you to pray over the food?
Yeah.
He already told you it's not that big a deal to him. So obviously praying over the food, he's not against it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just thought it just was something to call out. But either way, I actually think Rose and Kim got something bubbling.
I can see that.
I thought the conversation was flirty when they was talking about the oysters, and he was like, how you know it's an aphrodisiac? She was like, how do you like studying or whatever? Mm-hmm. I was like, yes, you're making me feel giddy.
I can see that.
I kind of liked it. So I really hope that they continue on, and I'm glad that she didn't let her first conversation with him about spirituality set the tone for how she was going to treat him during the date.
Right. I think that just set the tone for the prayer at the table and why she put too much on it.
Yes, it did. That's also a fact. The men sit down. They have their favorites. But you know who ain't their favorite? That True. They said True don't know the truth.
True don't know. The truth ain't in her at all. Child. She got a bad relationship with the truth, okay?
Naeem couldn't wait to make his way into the vault. He could not wait to tell y'all she got to go, okay?
She got to go. And I listen, I don't have no problem with it. I think that one, like I said, context matters. When you come into this process, you can't be like withholding information and, you know what I mean, being slick and fast with the truth and all that, and which any other answers, you know what I mean? Was it your phone number? Was it not your phone number? Right. I mean, it didn't matter.
We would be like...
Right. We would be like, you're unserious.
And I don't think everything we can equate. So someone said a comment before I really give my feelings about this, that we can't apply all of the wrongdoings or right doings of a man. It's not equal to all of the wrongdoings or right doings of a woman, because we do have separate roles. We show up in society two different ways.
Right.
I do feel like, though, there are things that as humans can be equated.
1,000%. I didn't see that comment, but I'm assuming it was addressed to me, so I'm going to address it now. Whenever I talk about it, we're applicable. I've never said it and it wasn't applicable, right?
Oh, you
I'm
so
not talking
extra.
about, a woman should hold the door like a man hold the door for a woman. I'm not talking about giving up her seat on the bus. You know what I'm saying? Whenever I've went off on a diatribe or a rant about keeping the same energy, it was 100% applicable. The same way that we're talking about True right now, and I would say that if a man came on here, was being shifty with the information and didn't want to tell this and didn't want to say that and was giving out weird numbers, we would say that they were unserious. And every time I say it, it's applicable, period.
Yes. And I think to your point, this moment is spot on. Like, we want the men to act a certain way. We too have to show up a certain way. And that's why I think True's behavior is kind of like unsettling a bit.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that the men are calling it out. And Naeem slicked his bun up particularly nice to come in there and say what he needed to say to get her up out of there. Okay. Khalil jumped in and he bandwagoned it. I'm not going to say he bandwagoned it, but he did say it bothered him a little bit that she didn't come through with, how old she was. He was like, we just trying to get to know each other. It's not like I'm not trying to. And I think the problem is, coupled with the information that Naeem gave, it does feel like you don't want people to get to know you.
Right.
In a silo, they are two separate situations. Maybe I can see why somebody could feel like, okay, what's the big deal? But I think together it's starting to tell a story about you.
Because it's not separate. It's coupled with how you spoke to Naeem and then how you spoke to Khalil and then showing up late. All of that gives the illusion that you are not taking this process serious.
Yes. Or I don't know what you're here for.
Right.
I don't know what you're here for. So they chose True as well as Sahara. I said her name 20 different ways, and I'm sorry, sweetie, to be in the bottom two. And I thought those were appropriate.
I did too. Y'all know I think that Sahara should have been went home. But at this point, the reason why Sahara might last is because this is a moment by moment, case by case basis. It's like when we watch Traders, and we watch this show called Traders on Peacock. And I was talking about the other day, they vote like somebody off like every episode.
Yes.
And I was saying, if you don't vote so-and-so off this week, it's no telling what will happen before the next vote that will put somebody else right up at the top to be cut off. And I think Sahara is going to be able to play that. Like, we think, she been in the bottom every week that the show been on the air. But somebody else might show their ass next week, and then she make the cut again. And this week it was True, and I think it was appropriate. Like, girl, your time is up.
I think it was appropriate.
Your time is up.
I think it was appropriate because despite the fact Sahara's still nice, she's still fun.
Right.
She's still a good hang. You know what I mean? And I don't think they would describe how their interactions with True that way.
No.
And I think that that's enough to keep her around. But I want to say this. The way she showed up to meet with Cam, that baby looked good. Like, Sahara, whatever she did or didn't do that day, I'm going to say didn't do that day.
Yeah.
She did it just right. I thought she looked so soft. I don't know if they changed the camera. I don't know what it was, but I was looking at her like, Mama is glowing.
She did look a little better.
Not that her looks were the problem, but something about her looks and her personality.
Was a little edgy. Was a little rough.
But I think them together was like, rawr,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wait,
like,
what was it? What?
But I think now, she still was giving a little.
Yes.
Because she could not accept what Cam was saying. Mm-hmm. And I think Cam said it perfectly.
Yeah, that's the alert, the allergy to accountability that we see. And we're going to see it again because somebody going to tell her something.
They're going to tell it to her next week too. Again. But no, the women are able to eliminate me next week. But I do think that, Cam, the way he even approached it was like a gentleman. And he gave her the compliment sandwich. Like,
yeah,
you're beautiful. We like hanging out with you. We just want to see us off the side. Like, you know what I mean? And she was like, no.
Yeah.
He was like, you know exactly. But when he said, you know what I'm talking about.
She does. And it ain't nothing that she ain't never heard before.
Like, actually, it was really, really. You've heard this before.
Yeah.
But then again, I be thinking, I mean this with all due respect. Y'all be dating men who talk to y'all like that. Like, if you dated a man who talked to you like a pretty princess, you wouldn't be talking to people like that. Like, you wouldn't feel the need. And I feel like she's obviously been doted on. She's a beautiful woman and everything like that. But I think that she might be used to a more...
Yes, she is.
You know what I mean?
And I think she maybe prefers it. I think if she was...
And I think she's one of those, like, you going to have to handle me. And y'all know how much I hate that.
Yeah.
You a grown-ass person. Handle yourself. And that's what I think Cam was politely trying to say. If you come into this handled, nobody has to handle you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We don't have to, be a ringleader in a circus.
Right.
You can just act the way that you're supposed to act. And we want to get to know you as a woman.
Yeah.
Like, don't nobody want to think you're going to haul off and punch them in the mouth or, you know what I mean, bite them or nothing like that.
Because that's why Fritz, he's afraid. That's why he wants her.
Fritz is afraid. That's why it's Jim Tan laundry to the day he DIE. Because he was like, I'm not. He's like, what? You're aggressive and you're scaring me.
He said, you are scaring me.
Like, enough. So I do feel like if she takes this information, first of all, it's not just that they don't. The idea that you're pretending like you don't know what he means is weird because you're single.
But the problem is, it's not weird. Because most of these singles out here would explain the reason they are single by blaming everybody else, everything else, the sun, the moon, and the stars. It's always somebody else's problem. I'm single because it ain't no good men out here. Mm-hmm. I'm single because all my exes is crazy. I'm single because it's always everybody else. And the majority of people speak that way. So the accountability being fleeting, it's like a disease. It's a pandemic. Everybody's single, but nobody is the problem.
Nobody is the problem. And I feel like she kind of exhibited that. That's a red flag to me. Mm-hmm. Because you should just be able to say, this is how you come off. And what people don't get is that communication is like what you said, what you meant to say, and how the person received it, right? So are your actions.
Yeah.
What you did, what you meant to do, and how the person received it. So you might genuinely think you're not coming off a certain way. And guess what? That could be valid.
Right.
But if you're in the world and people receive your actions a certain way, that means that, okay, there is something that I could maybe tweak or whatever. That's not an indictment on who you are.
Right.
And I think that a lot of times when we grow up in these environments where we always have to be a certain way, we adopt this ideology that makes us defensive about receiving any type of critiques about how we show up in the world.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? And I think it's okay. Like, you yell to... I've dated a man and he told me, you yell too much. I don't talk to you like that. You can't talk to me like that. And he sent me away to like a place where I could get that together. Like, no, I want to be with you, but I don't want you to be yelling and screaming all the time. You know what I mean? And I could have taken that as like, what you trying to say? I'm a strong black woman or whatever the case may be. But in the truth, when I thought about it, I was cussing that motherfucker out all the time. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't want to be this person. And I don't want to be, more than not being that person, right? I don't want to be perceived that way. Because in truth, I do like to curse people out. My husband now. But I don't want people to think that that's a part of my core personality.
But you can't get to that place unless you acknowledge or are willing to acknowledge that you are a flawed human being who has things to work on. And a lot of these people do not want to do that. The first thing that people say when they come on these shows is, I'm not going to change for anybody.
What?
Red flag.
But that's also a Philly thing, y'all. And I know a lot of Philly women, and there's no tea, no shade to y'all. But y'all do act like that. When the whole interaction with True was something I've seen before.
A thousand times before.
Like, they will defend their right to be wrong. And I can appreciate that. And some of that is a defense mechanism. Part of me appreciates it. But the part of me is like, if you knew how much in your own way you were, you would find a way to end this conversation. Because all she did was sit in front of Khalil and affirm for Khalil exactly what he couldn't wait to say it.
I know he was like, and I feel so vindicated.
Yes, hallelujah.
I know he felt so vindicated in that moment because he like, this why your ass is going home.
And this is exactly why your ass is going home. And that's the problem. Y'all be showing so many facets of yourself. Everybody don't got to know all that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You could have just,
you could have just kept it cute. If you didn't agree, then you could have not agreed. And it didn't change the status of your place on the show. You're still going home.
Right. But also, you don't see you.
Right.
The problem is like, we go out in the world, we live our lives from the inside, not the out.
Yes.
So you can't see you.
Right.
You don't know how you're showing up.
Right.
Unless I tell you that.
Right.
Unless you sit in front of a, Dr. Phil and he say that.
Right.
Also, fuck Dr. Phil. I don't even know why I said that.
Yeah, straight up.
I don't even know why I said that. Iyanla. You know what I mean? I'm cramped up. We got to go. Y'all, my husband took me to Costco, bought me all these groceries. Okay, spent all this money. And tonight I want fried fish. But I don't have no fish. Thank you guys for joining us again. I'm your girl, Intisar Eleanor. This is my beautiful husband, Joseph. It has been, honestly, I'm really enjoying this season of Ready to Love. Way more than I did Married at First Sight. We only a couple episodes in. I feel like it's giving us way more.
Yeah, but that's because we dealing with the blacks on here.
Oh, I might just be happy to see y'all, mother.
How about that?
Hey, fam. Let us know what y'all thinking in the comments about this episode of Ready to Love. And we'll see you beautiful mother jumpers later. Thanks for watching the comments, guys.